The question has lingered over Sam Heughan's life like a stubborn shadow. Why has he never married? For millions of fans, the idea seems almost unthinkable. He is handsome, successful, admired across the globe, and adored as the embodiment of romance itself through his iconic role as Jamie Fraser in Outlander. On screen, he represents passion, loyalty, and enduring love, the perfect husband every viewer dreams of. Yet in reality, as the years pass, Sam Heughan remains unmarried, leaving fans to endlessly speculate about the reason why. The tension around this mystery has only grown sharper with time. In interview after interview, journalists slip in the inevitable question, "So, do you see marriage in your future?" And each time, Sam's response is the same: a small smile, a laugh, a vague deflection that gives nothing away. Never an outright yes. Never a firm no. Just a carefully crafted silence that fuels speculation rather than extinguishing it. And speculation is exactly what the public thrives on. Over the years, Sam has been linked romantically to models, actresses, and mysterious women spotted fleetingly at events. Paparazzi photos surface of him dining with companions or walking through airports, only for the names to vanish as quickly as they appear. Nothing has ever lasted long enough, nothing has ever been confirmed. His relationships, if they existed, seem to dissolve before reaching the stage where marriage could even be discussed. But the most powerful force driving curiosity has always been the Outlander fandom. Since the show's debut in 2014, viewers have been captivated by Sam's on-screen partnership with Katrina Balfe. Their chemistry was so magnetic that fans insisted it had to be real. Entire online communities dedicated themselves to proving Sam and Katrina were secretly together, even after Katrina publicly married Tony McGill. For these fans, Sam's bachelorhood wasn't just a curiosity, it was ammunition, proof that he must be waiting for Katrina, or that his private life was far more complicated than he let on. The tabloids happily fanned the flames. Headlines screamed of secret weddings, hidden girlfriends, and mystery lovers. Each article offered crumbs of gossip, never facts, but always enough to keep the narrative alive. The absence of marriage became not just a gap in Sam's life story but a scandal in its own right, a tantalizing mystery that editors knew would sell. And yet, behind the glossy images and red carpet appearances, whispers began to emerge of a different truth. Friends and insiders suggested that Sam wasn't simply uninterested in marriage, he was deeply conflicted about it. They spoke of a man under immense pressure, burdened by a role that demanded he embody the perfect husband to millions of fans while struggling privately with the reality that his own romantic life never seemed to align with that fantasy. The weight of playing Jamie Fraser cannot be underestimated. Jamie is not just a character, he is a cultural icon, a symbol of eternal devotion. Fans project their own desires onto Sam, expecting him to be Jamie in real life. Every date, every rumor, every silence is measured against that impossible standard. How could any real relationship survive under such scrutiny? How could any woman step into his life without being compared to Claire, the fictional wife who has already captured the world's heart? This double life, the adored fantasy on screen and the solitary reality off-screen, has become the heart of the mystery. Is Sam simply too dedicated to his career, unwilling to sacrifice opportunities for personal stability? Is he haunted by private heartbreaks that fans never saw, relationships cut short by fame or betrayal? Or is there something deeper, something rooted not in Hollywood but in his own past? Because as fans speculate and the media spins its stories, one voice has remained conspicuously quiet. The voice of the person who knows Sam Heughan more intimately than anyone else, Chrissie Heughan, the woman who raised him. For years, she has avoided the spotlight, living quietly as an artist while her son's fame exploded worldwide. But recently, whispers suggest Chrissie has finally spoken out, revealing a painful truth about Sam's past that may explain why marriage has always eluded him. If those whispers are true, then the reason Sam Heughan has never married isn't about Hollywood, or Katrina, or gossip columns. It's something much deeper, far more personal, a scar from his own history that even fame and fortune cannot erase. And when Chrissie's words are revealed, they promise not only to answer the question fans have been asking for years, but also to expose the hidden pain that has shaped Sam Heughan's life in ways no one ever imagined. When Chrissie Heughan finally spoke, it wasn't in the glitz of a red carpet or the chaos of a press junket. It came quietly, during an interview focused on her artwork, glass pieces, prints, and her life as an artist in Scotland. But as the conversation drifted toward her son's extraordinary success, the journalist asked the inevitable question: why has Sam never married? Chrissie's answer stunned everyone who heard it. Her voice, steady yet tinged with sorrow, revealed a truth that fans had never considered. Sam grew up without a father, she said softly. It was just him, his brother, and me. He never had that example of a strong marriage in the home. He learned early on that love can be fleeting, that sometimes people leave. That kind of pain doesn't just vanish when you grow older. It follows you. The revelation was like pulling back a curtain. Suddenly, Sam's carefully guarded private life came into sharper focus. Behind the charisma, behind the confident smile, was a boy raised in the absence of a father figure, watching his mother struggle to hold everything together. That void, Chrissie explained, had left an imprint so deep that even as an adult, Sam carried a fear of repeating history. He's not afraid of love, Chrissie continued, but he is afraid of what comes after. Commitment, marriage, those are promises he worries he cannot keep, because he never saw them kept for him. He doesn't want to hurt anyone the way he was hurt as a child. And so he holds back. Her words painted Sam not as a man uninterested in marriage, but as someone deeply scarred by the fragility of relationships. Fans who had once speculated he was too career-driven or secretly waiting for the right person now saw a different picture. A man protecting himself and others from a heartbreak he feared might be inevitable. The emotional weight of Chrissie's truth hit the fandom like a tidal wave. Twitter and Instagram filled with messages of empathy, with fans admitting they cried reading her words. Some said they finally understood why Sam always dodged personal questions with that practiced smile. Others expressed guilt, realizing that their relentless speculation may have reopened wounds he never wanted exposed. But the story didn't end with empathy. The tabloids seized on Chrissie's confession, turning it into headlines. Sam Heughan haunted by father's absence. Mother reveals why Sam can't commit. What Chrissie had shared in honesty and vulnerability became fodder for endless debate. Some critics accused her of exposing her son's pain too openly. Others applauded her for giving the world context, for reminding fans that behind the celebrity was a human being carrying invisible scars. And then, of course, came the darker interpretations. Some commentators insisted Sam's reluctance to marry was proof he was hiding something bigger, reviving old rumors about his sexuality or secret relationships. Instead of ending speculation, Chrissie's revelation seemed to fuel it in new directions. A cruel irony, given that her intent was to humanize him, not to sensationalize his life. Still, the heart of her truth resonated. Fans began to revisit old interviews, hearing Sam's laughter and silences in a new light. That evasive charm wasn't arrogance or mystery, it was self-protection. His bachelorhood wasn't a choice made from selfishness, but from fear of repeating patterns that had caused him and his family so much pain. Chrissie's confession also revealed something else, her own quiet strength. She described raising Sam and his brother alone, struggling financially but determined to give them opportunities. She spoke of how Sam's drive to succeed came not just from ambition, but from a desire to provide the stability he never had as a child. Everything he's built from nothing, she said. But sometimes when you build alone, you learn not to let anyone too close, in case it all falls apart. The image was heartbreaking. A boy who grew into a man adored by millions, yet still held captive by the fear of abandonment planted in him as a child. Fame, success, wealth, none of it could erase that early wound. And in that wound lay the answer to the question fans had been asking for years. The painful truth, as revealed by Chrissie, was simple yet devastating. What stops Sam Heughan from marrying isn't a lack of love or opportunity. It is the shadow of loss, the memory of promises broken before he was old enough to understand them. That scar has shaped his choices, his silence, and the mystery that has defined him in the public eye. As Chrissie's words spread, fans were left with a haunting realization. The fairy tale romance they demanded from Sam may never exist, not because he doesn't want it, but because he has spent his whole life fearing the cost of losing it. And so the myth of Sam Heughan, the perfect husband on-screen, the eternal bachelor off-screen, suddenly became something deeper, more tragic. It wasn't a story of scandal, but of survival. A reminder that even the brightest stars carry shadows. Because sometimes the greatest obstacle to love isn't the lack of it, but the fear of watching it disappear.